Gorgeous, gorgeous girls read Sappho. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls are dyslexic and do not know how to spell gorgeous.
It's now on the way to being different. It's now gone sprouts.
It's on the way to being death roasted. Death roasting the duck. Merry Christmas. You're stealing my focus. Do you mind? You're quite literally stealing my focus. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm under.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is live stream.
Yeah, it's totally live.
I'm having fun. Specifically, you can't concentrate for more than 5 seconds. Oh, actually, do you?
I want to play Monopoly.
I could play Monopoly if somebody helps me.
It's not hard. I just want to do it so you can memorise the wine regions. You don't want a marzipan running commentary?
Still sounds as well. It's like £1,000 book.
Everybody's
That's Lou's back.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Louie. I asked him to take my pens for me because otherwise I can't start my new bullet journal. He really just chucked everything. Go to the door frame. I want to see like how.
I'm not that close to this door frame.
Well, I mean,
Still a good 3-4 inches.
you're so cute. Mummy. What you do, mummy? Hello, welcome to a festive vlog. I have, Christ, maybe 7 or 8 of these videos now. 7 or 8 of these videos. I am racing to try finish my Goodreads goal for the end of the year. I'm currently on 19 books and my goal is still 25. Every other year I have like almost made my goal. It's usually been about 20, but I haven't cheating, but I've sort of been cheating. I always read like these books, like the little ones, and that does count as a book. So I'm like not doing that this year. You know, you can see your Goodreads stats. So I've already read significantly more pages this year than I did last year, but I don't have the book tally. I have a bunch of like half bloody read books, but I just desperately want to finish now. Little TBR. So I am currently still reading Baldwin's Giovanni's Room. I've read it quite literally, what I can only explain is about 5 freaking pages. I chose it again because it's short. It's only 150 pages long. Nancy Mitford's Christmas Pudding. And when I bought this, I had every intention of reading it right now, right here. So this was meant to be read under these conditions. So maybe I'll read this tomorrow. And also, I have noticed over there, our presents are over there, they're not on the Christmas tree. I don't know. I have a lot of book-shaped packages that may or may not have FM. I bought a couple of TikTok books. The Mountain Is You, 100 essays that will change the way you think. I'm considerably more skeptical than I was before. Like, what are her credentials? And you're like, and then you have somebody that's an international life coach endorse it, and somebody that is a holistic psychologist. Many of you are like me, and things like that are a turn off, but it's kind of put me in a place where I'm like, what am I about to read? I assume this will feel more like advice I could have got from one of my friends, and is definitely like maybe that's standard. We will see. I mainly want to basically review these two. because I've seen it all over BookTok, I've seen it all over to even just TikTok in general, I've seen it a lot on Pinterest too, but like, you know, if you want to be that girl and you want to like change your mindset, etc, etc, I'm like, okay, but what are you actually reading? I actually want to know what you're reading because I worry about you, because I just need to know what's up. Anyway, you, me, the pile of books on my desk in my bedroom. So this is where we're at. I didn't even have time to say the thing. Emma. This is kind of where I'm at. I've read this, these are to read, and then these are my bullet journals. I read this. We're not gonna dwell on this. This is basically a romance novel set within the world of F1. That is what this is. What's about this world champion? His name is Noah Slade. And basically, I don't want to read any fucking F1 fanfiction. I am 23, I'm not bloody doing it. I'd seen this all over TikTok. This is from Lauren Ash's series Dirty Air. This one is called Throttled. It reads like fanfiction. My working theory is that all of the women who are writing fanfiction as girls when they were like 14 years old, they all just graduated, became 20-somethings, and now have book contracts. So honestly, girly, get that coin. And honestly, I really bloody enjoyed it. It's like 360 pages and I read it in about 48 hours. I am dyslexic. That is unheard of for me. I think this is the fastest thing I've ever read. But yeah, reason fanfiction, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Is this a masterpiece? No, 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 no. Will I read the rest of the series because there's 4 books? Yes, 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 yes. Covers your classic romance tropes, lovers to haters, secret dating, brothers rival. Ugh. I feel like I really enjoyed it up until the moment where it became really romantic, and then I just... I will stay here for the smut, but like, please don't give me romance. But that says more about me than it does about the book, so let's just move on now. The next couple that I have with me, I've talked about these before, so let's blast through this. I've got Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Miranda Lowe. I'll probably read this quite quick. It's YA and it's woman loving woman. We love the sapphics. Speaking of the sapphics, I've read half of Sappho's Fragments, so I just want to read the rest of them. I only have a couple left, so I'm like, you know, I may as well. Still haven't fucking finished A Journal of a Plague Year. A plague year? We've had 2 plague years, so clearly there's still abundant bloody time to read this. And then I should probably read the Camus, right? Right. I was reading this book on negotiating by Chris Voss. It is really good. I don't know why I got halfway through and then stopped. I think I started reading Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That's why I got really distracted and was like, I need to read that halfway through. So I should be able to finish this. And then what would be a home Emma vlog, Christmas vlog without Calvino and Murakami. Murakami, Men Without Women with me, and I have Calvino, Difficult Love Without Me. Without me, with me. I don't know if I'll finish these before the end of the year, so everything I have with me is all short or easy or half read. And then I got some notebooks. I know you guys will vibe with this as well. Ah. So this has been this year's bullet journal. Loved this. This kept my life so together for such a long time. Yeah, bullet journal. Woo, and look at it. It's so cute. I also quite like that they look quite similar. It's a mood. But this is adorable. Also, where was it? And then, this is so exciting. I'm so excited about this actually. This notebook is completely empty, but it is so exciting as to what it represents. Look at that. My grad film will exist within this. No, I've been using Notion to organise all of my like creative ideas. Would you like a video on that? People use Notion a lot for like study notes, but like, do you want to see how I use it as like a creative? But yeah, look at that. This is also dotted. These 2 notebooks are basically going to represent all of my next year. I'm looking forward to 2022. It should be really good. Also, those notebooks are from Papier, not Spawn, but if you want to spawn me Papier, that's all of my admin. You guys haven't had an Emma update in a long time. The film that I made this term just finished is also linked down below. I'm very proud of it. So do go check it out because I've poured my heart and soul into it. That's why I've been gone for so long. But yeah, book time. He's requested we move the Thanks, Adam. In our household, you don't need a from sticker because you can tell. Mine are so beautifully wrapped, they're a little bit extra. Mum's are just beautifully wrapped and calligraphied. Adam's are well attempted wrapping, and Louis just hasn't wrapped them, so. Oh yeah, have you seen these yet?
Well, yeah, considering I unwrapped them.
Yeah, some Roman soldiers. The sheep don't stand up on their own though, it's really funny, they just fall over the whole time.
I think I've got the baby Jesus there.
Baby Jesus! What's it called? Stable.
Oh, it's the baby Jesus!
Oh, the baby Jesus! Oh, the Phantom Joseph.
The snow is very realistic for the police.
When are you going to get a palm tree? I thought you said you were going to get a palm tree.
Where's Mary?
Right here.
We needed her. He needs to go behind.
What is this angel on? Oh my god! I mean, praise it and blaze it, but Jesus Christ! Look at it! Let's arrange the baby Jesus. Mary's used for anointing people on the dead. I have learned something from your quiz. Oh, yay. Not whitewashing. Well, I mean, this is fairly whitewashed as far as this goes. If you just like slowly over the years can turn everyone darker and darker and darker. Every year they just release a set that's just a little
Well,
bit
the
darker.
baby has blue eyes, which...
The baby's white.
The baby should have blue eyes.
The white child. I just don't want to do the thing. Come on. It's difficult because we're all supposed to be looking at the baby Jesus. Oh my god, what the fuck are we going to do with this? I like this sheep. This sheep is having a good time. That's very symmetrical. Okay. There we go. That's fairly symmetrical. Highlights include the white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby Jesus, the angel that has no idea what's what, this smug-looking sheep, this slightly tanned Roman soldier, all these white people, and a bit more ethnic accuracy, and this weird sheep. Jesus was born in the Middle East, but the Catholic Church doesn't want you to know that. That's a picture.
Smile, I'm filming.
Oh well, this isn't.
Turn the heat up. Can't do that. Put it on the top of them.
He's essentially cutting the lady's hair.
This time, I mean...
But I didn't hear the first word. I didn't.
Regularly on a walk.
This is just going down.
How much
I just. This is like greeny grey. This is I understand. This is totally no. And it's got a bit of texture.
I don't know. She wants to reupholster this chair and that chair to match this chair. Why are you just always there? Go away. Oh, Adam. You're disgusting.
Oh, you can't stop proofing to the same time. Oh no. Louis, you can now.
Yay, you've ruined content! Thank you for the towel. I want to know what it is!
Oh my god, it's a towel. Oh my god, what does Adam have? Oh, the little giraffes.
And then geese.
Unbelievable.
Thanks, Adam.
No problemo.
This one's for you.
You are supposed to wrap them, Louis.
This one is for you, and then this one is for you.
Why would you? What? What is this?
See if I can work this out. That's for you. It's not yours.
This is yours.
I feel like
That's yours.
I feel like this is for Mum.
He's been meddling them up.
Why do I want to leave up?
COVID-19 vaccine.
Because it's about doctors and alright, like,
Louis,
What am I supposed to do with this one?
read it.
This looks fantastic.
Yeah, there we go.
What's it about?
Very, very well curated.
Searching for certainty.
I'm reading it.
No. How many pages are there?
Thank you, Louis.
Weird.
Oh.
So,
He said he got them from the Economist
this is
list.
this book counts backwards.
Oh my god, it's like a...
How weird.
It's like postmodern. Oh my god, it's crazy.
So postmodern? That's too postmodern.
Mum's gonna burn the
It
book.
starts
now.
on
It's
page-
going the wrong way.
Two.
So the book's backwards.
It's a countdown rather than a count up.
Dad, that's upside down. It's the wrong way around.
No, it's
Men, wir but
I just kind of want to see the pure rage on Louis' face.
Oh no!
Adam, it's brand new.
It's not brand new.
Oh no! He's got on his
It was £9.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
lovely.
I still think
Oh, is it from Burgundy? Don't accidentally break my guitar.
Yeah, I don't want to accidentally stab you.
Yeah. What? No, I'll wait.
Cringe.
And that is an absolute beauty right there. Now the puff toilet there.
So one thing my friends have got very good at over like all the lockdowns is making cocktails. I am not very good at making cocktails. I've never really tried, to be quite honest. We're gonna try now, just because we can, right? At the moment, I've been drinking a lot of old fashions, a lot of Manhattans as well. I really like those. We have whiskey, we have Di Serono, which goes in our tiramisu. It's the tiramisu booze. It's no wonder I like tiramisu so much. And we are going to need a cocktail shaker. So let's. We have a cocktail shaker. Would you believe it? I would be absolutely mystified if this had ever been used. Look at that! Look at that!
I've never. It's just in the
Guys! My glass is very warm and I won't do.
Everything is gonna be dirty at the same time.
$200 milliliters of amaretto. I would drink this straight, to be honest. I'm gonna put in, I don't have a lemon, so I'll be adding a lime. I have no idea if that's gonna make a difference. And another recipe did say whiskey, so let's have a look. Scotch whiskey. I have no idea. Was it right? Can somebody explain to me in the comments what the difference between Scotch, bourbon, and whiskey is? It's all technically the same thing, but it's like areas, right? Well, then somebody get upset and tell me. Somebody get upset and explain it to me. No! God damn it! So this comes off, so I'm having to do it like this. Well, it's not as frothy as it's supposed to be, but my shaker will also fly off if I try any harder. So. This is where my mother will tell me this is a place of honour because first of all, I have a chair, Duchess has got chairs, and also I'm closest to the fireplace, which means I am the most important person. And I'm on page 75.
Like side forward.
No, don't drop your arms. You drop your leg.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Because you did it all already.
Ah!
You done great at it.
This is not successful.
Adam, how have you done that?
That's the way it's meant to be.
I'm now recording so I can take screenshots.
Oh my god.
They
Oh my
recorded.
god. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
that'll do.
Finish my wine glass.
Can we go now?
Yeah. Okay,
That
that's
was
horrible.
I'll make a pot of coffee again.
Last night I managed to read to page 192, which is exactly halfway. Nancy Mitford Christmas Pudding, which is from 1932. This precedes the like little world that you get in Pursuit of Love. It's really like 4 books that belong in the same universe. I think this is good to read now that I've read all of her other books. I don't know if this is like the best thing to start with. Like 16 characters all sort of converging together around Christmas Day. She's so good at writing social circles and like those social connections and stuff, so you can so see why she was very good at writing all of like court aristocratic histories, biographies, because that's her life. Her humour, I feel like, is always that kind of, it's just fucking utterly savage. Like she just continuously just roasts people. Because she is an aristocrat, she can make fun of people, or aristocrats taking themselves way too seriously, or like the bourgeoisie trying to be aristocratic and like hide that they're bourgeois. So it's like she just roasts everybody, including herself. I genuinely think this woman would have been a fantastic person to get drunk with and have conversations with. Read some of her other books, get used to her style and stuff, and then come in and read this around Christmas time. I think, even the book cover is so freaking festive. It's freaking beautiful. Penguin have fucking knocked it out of the park with her fiction. I have all of them in the same edition, so that's deeply satisfying to me, and I think that adds to a lot of my like love. It grinds my gears to no end that every single book of all Jane Austen I have is in a different edition. That genuinely infuriates me. Half done, hopefully finish half today, and that will stick me on 20 books I've read this year. While they're right here, I'll show you the books that I got for Christmas from my mother. The Age of Conversation. I think this is about like, especially women and like salons and that kind of stuff. It's all like a salon hosting thing that's still prevalent in this, but it's like the end of it. Married women who then basically run the social life and sort of scene for her husband, and all the like clout he essentially gets from her. I don't understand this whole thing of like, why don't we do that now? Why am I not a salon hostess? Why? Me, definitely in another life in the past. In the 17th and 18th centuries, between the reign of Louis XIII and the Revolution, the French nobility of the Ancien regime turned their energies into developing the art of sociability, a refined code of manners, and the idea of being gallant, spirited conversation that became a model for social and intellectual life. And also, it's already been talking about Madame de Lafayette and Madame de Sévigné, so I'm like, this is absolutely up my goddamn street. Madame de, the Duchesse de, the Marquise de, Madame de. This is about women, and you know it's a good gift when like you get gifted it and then they go, oh, once you're done with it, I'll read it as well. And that's what I did for my brother. I bought him, I'll show you. I bought him that. And I did say, once you're done with it, I may as well read it too. In my defense, last year, he bought me a book called Why You're Scaring Him Away. And then my brother got me The Sex Lives of African Women. This is like anecdotal stuff. The Sex Life of African Women uniquely amplifies individual women from across the African continent and its global diaspora as they speak of diverse experiences of sex, sexuality and relationships. Ooh. Oh, so I may as well show you what I got my mum as well. Winner of a Nobel Prize in Literature. So, maybe this will float some of your boats. Doesn't float mine, as you can see. And then literally bless my mum's little cotton socks. it's a drawing for difficult words, but like in French, you know that my like dyslexic little self struggles deeply in any language. French is absolutely no exception. To be honest, it might actually just be worse. There's little drawings for all of the words that are difficult to spell. Oh god, if I only had this when I was like little, this would have been fantastic. In English and in French, to be honest. Paysage, ballerine, ballerine, une reboire. It's basically all the words that you just forget, right? Because French is difficult. Anyway, that's your book update. I'll see if I can finish this today. I bloody well hope so.
This is to be
He's not set that on fire.
They're just amazing, these. They're too nice to...
Oh.
Yeah, and then what?
They're just matches.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Pages. I started this yesterday and I finished it. Now, yes, very pleased with myself. I'm dyslexic. I think I've said this about a million times. Whenever I read anything this quickly, it like makes my brain happy. That was Nancy Mitford's Christmas Pudding. I feel like because I know her so well in terms of the way that she writes, how she does character, plot, all of that, like everything, it feels to me like she's very much learnt to do character through this. There are like 16 different characters in this and how they all intertwine and stuff, etc, etc. It's centralising on whether you do or do not marry somebody, the motivations you would have for marrying somebody, the kind of life you would have with them. Love isn't necessarily on the cards and nor should it necessarily have to be, according to her. For God's sake, be smart and marry for money. If at all you're feeling let down, jaded, disappointed by any kind of relationship thing and you've considered marrying just for money, maybe I recommend reading this because it would definitely float your boat, at least for that moment in time. Mitford doesn't try and like make heroes, and I think a lot of people fail often when they try and do heroes. I've been guilty of this because you try and make your hero likable and then you make them boring. Mitford doesn't do that. Mitford doesn't give a fuck. So she always does create more than you would expect, more complex characters, but they do often sometimes come off as whiny, so depends if you care. Plot was a bit lacking. Her other books are better, but the humour is there. You kind of sometimes have to read it twice because you're like, did I just read that? But it's nice to be reminded that people in the past are funny. Women of the past are in fact funny. Always a treat, and it's just kind of nice because this is always destined to be read now. And I read Christmas Pudding on the 25th and 26th of December, so I fulfilled my little prophecy, shall we say. I gave it 3 stars because I guess I always had the unfortunate case of starting with her best stuff and then sort of working my way down, you know what I mean? I have 25 pages of Sappho left to read from lockdown last year. There is a book that I did actually in fact read earlier this year. I deliberately didn't put on my GoodReads, so technically I've read 21 things. I'll put it on the last day of the year. And I'm also still obviously thinking about reading Giovanni's Room, but then I also have 100 pages of Never Split the Difference left, so... I was supposed to read. I took a nap instead. I had a cup of coffee, sat down to read, and then my dad decided to put as many blankets on me as possible and then tucked me in, and I fell asleep straight away. Am I 23 or am I just 3? I think I may just be 3. There we are. Fire.
Stayed by area.
Is it CT?
Well, it doesn't say it.
There's so much about them.
Well, if you go on the Google Maps, it usually does it in the first 2.
Here they've got it.
Well, depends whether you see a citation as a moment in time, or whether you see the location of a book publisher as a moment of both space and time, or just time.
Done this to me.
Adam?
Henry Masson. was getting desperate. The young man before him was short of breath, feverish, and couldn't stop coughing.
So, first order of business. My mum bought this blanket and it's just insanely warm, and my dad was on the sofa. My dad thought it was funny to put multiple blankets on me, tucked me in, and then I fell asleep for multiple hours, which is not... I woke up and I didn't know what year it was, so that's great start. However, I did in fact manage to finish my book. I did it, kids. I finished Giovanni's Room, and this, I feel like for something that's 150 pages, this took me to finish the last like couple chapters. It took me like 2 hours to it took me about an hour to read the last 5 pages, purely because I had to read. I kept starting to like almost crying. I had to put it down again. I spent a while on my phone, then come back, read another page and be like ugh. So I don't know how you can just read that in one go. If you did, how much did you cry? And was it like, how ugly was the cry? Was there like snot, tears, you know? It's just when you read something and just the force, like the emotional force and weight of something, it's sometimes just astounding that is what words, but I was gonna say, you know, it's what literature, poetry, it's just what words can do. And it is a credit to Baldwin as a storyteller enormously. I mean, basic summary, it's a love triangle, and this isn't spoilers. Giovanni used to be executed, and this essentially retelling is of our hero, well, protagonist David. We're telling of all of their encounter. It's a love triangle between David, Giovanni, and Hella, which is David's fiance, who is traveling around Spain trying to figure out whether she does in fact marry him or not. First off, the impression that it gave me was, I said to my mum it was giving crime and punishment, but then we realised I actually meant The Idiot, where he's like on the scaffolding about to be executed and then tells his like story as he's like right there. I thought it was crime and punishment, it's not. It's also reminded me that one of the books I just have to read next year, I have to read Crime and Punishment. It's what I want to read. Like when I get back home, that is like the first thing I'm going to pick up and be like, I need to read this.
I feel like this is probably the apt time to mention that I'm not in London yet because I'm at home because I have COVID. I was going to skip past this, but like I feel like maybe I should mention it. Great. Like everyone else, it's fine. But great start to the year.
You know, you guys ask me so often like why read classics? What is the point of reading classics? People always are like, oh, it's pretentious, it's this, it's that, and I finished Sappho, so I'll talk about that in a second. It's just sometimes that like weight, it's that like capacity for somebody to move you so deeply, so profoundly. I think sometimes you just need to remember that like literature can be art, and like there is high art, there is low art, etc, etc. There is good art and there is bad art, and books are obviously no exception to that. And that's not just plot, story, whatever, but it's words. Like some people, and this applies to Wolf's Orlando, it's like some people the way they write, it's like you're reading like a syrup or something. It's something that is so just something else, and you're reading it, and Baldwin, within a couple of pages of reading Baldwin, you know that you're reading something special. You immediately know that you're reading something special, and it's just people who have this, they understand, almost like wordsmith kind of feeling. If you read poetry, I think this is an argument for reading poetry, it's people who take such care in every single word they put down, and they understand that every single word they put down is important, and the way that it's, you understand every word's importance, and you give every word its place. And that is how reading Baldwin feels, but is how reading Sappho feels. It's so deeply considered. Like, and reading Achebe was the same. It's like, it just adds to the power of the story. This is what I complained about with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Great story, great characters, terrible writing. Terrible writing. And although you can love something deeply when it has those two things, if that book had been written even half the way this is, with half of the like understanding of just like words and literature, etc, etc, like that could have been a masterpiece. And it's not because of that. It's not because she story and plot great, characters great, but the words are just not in the right places. They're just not the right ones, and it's such a shame that you know that something could have been so stunning, but it just didn't fully get there, and it feels then that you need to do part of the work. This, you don't need to do any of the work here, you just have to sit, read, and try not to cry. As someone who is not straight, reading things that are queer, but not just queer, but they're art, like that is a joy. Like that is absolutely a joy, even though of course it's fucking tragic. Of course it fucking is. This is what I've talked about before of like, you know, queer stories and unhappy endings. This is a fantastic example of that. And it's so great to see Paris like this, a gay scene like this. But yeah, it is tragic and it does hurt. And interestingly enough, I read into Giovanni. I read into him an ex of mine, and it's the kind of thing like once you start, you cannot stop. And there are arguments in this that are, I feel like it's so human and it's so realist, because there are arguments in this that I'm like, I've had them. Like there are arguments in here that I have experienced. So it kind of felt like reading them again, and like, you know, once you start mapping, you know, certain relationship, people onto certain characters, you cannot stop. You cannot stop. Then that just sort of becomes twofold in terms of its pain and stuff. And like with Sappho, it's the same thing. I think that's the thing with classics as well, is something I heard about screenwriting and it stuck with me is simple stories, complex characters. And I think often that means, that's one of the things that makes classics, right? A story that has been told so many times, but every time you tell it, it just sort of, it's about like transcendent feeling. And in a lot of ways, this does that. Obviously it's rather dramatic, but it kind of feels like that. And it's just one of the ways that it became heavier to read, like the breakups, like, especially when you're a student, like breakups in small rooms, heavy, big arguments, big moments, like these heavy sort of things, these big sort of things in small spaces. That as a feeling is just, it's claustrophobic and it's choking and it's suffocating and fuck. When his other relationship falls apart, like that as well, it's just so, when someone's trying to leave, when you're together somewhere and then one person's trying to leave, like if you've ever had a fight while you're on holiday somewhere, like, oh god, painful. Because when, yeah, you're reading something but you're trudging up your own crap on it too, and then it just hurts even more. I finished this and it took a little while longer than I thought it would to read it, because it hurt so damn much. It hurt so damn much, and like, it's one of those things that if you're gay, absolutely read it. Like, this is part of our culture. And if you're straight, definitely read it. Engage in our culture. And I say that as a woman reading about homosexual men rather than women. I read about women over here, so it's fine. There are a lot of feelings about like shame, guilt, especially the beginning of the novel where he sort of recounts his first experiences with like a guy his age. Like that hits different, and you're just, it hurts. Obviously because this is the 1950s, it's really exacerbated. Yeah, and then obviously the outrage that Baldwin caused for being a black man writing about a white gay man. Like, I don't doubt that this will not be the last of Baldwin's books that I read. It's so delicious when you discover somebody's writing in someone's voice and you're just like, I want more of you. That's how I felt reading Calvino, that's how I felt reading Wolf, that's how I felt reading... I've forgotten his name. My point is that if you want to just feel something for a bit and you want it to be sad, read that. Ooh. And yeah, then I finished reading Sappho. Some of you that will mystify, some of you that will horrify. Book hangovers are real, by the way. I have one from that. I have one from this, I think, because I had to read this in 2 installments, like 2 years apart. I read it for like the other readathon that I did. It's difficult because you can't like binge read poetry, every single one, especially if they're like really good. You just kind of have to sit with it for a while. But then I don't have the self-discipline that I think I do to like have it on my bedside table and just like read one a day. What's the last one in here, apart from like the new fragments they've had? It just, honestly, it creases me like Every like 10 years or so, they'll just like find another fragment. The last time they found one was in like 2013. They found another one in like 2005, 4, 5. They just find them in like random university archives because someone just put it there and fucking forgot about it or something. Like, it genuinely creases me. And then I think about like, you know, the burning of the Library of Alexandria, and then I get sad. So like, let's move on. One of the last ones in here. I declare that later on, even in an age unlike our own, someone will remember who we are. Oh, I like this one. This one's funny. The gorgeous man presents a gorgeous view. The good man will in time be gorgeous too. These are great. Some of these I just went to town on. Like, I just find it fascinating. And I think this as well, this edition is good too, because you have the poems on one side and the fragments on one side. And you have an explanation and context and stuff on the other side. So that's really, really good. If you want to know my more succinct thoughts on this, it's in my readathon from last year during lockdown. I really had shit to say on this. My God. It's just fun now because like I've annotated basically every single... I have annotated every single one of Sappho's fragments and poems because I'm... And also honestly remember that classics can be incredibly relatable. In all honesty, I wanted to die. Leaving for good after a good long cry. Yeah, so like don't be impressed by any of my annotations because half of them is just stuff like that. Anyway, right, so now I'm going to try and read, because it's the 30th, I'm going to try and read the last 100 pages I have of Chris for Never Split the Difference. I was wondering the other day, I was enjoying this, why did I stop reading this? It's because I think I started reading The Seven Husbands of Urban Hugo. I think that's why I was like, I need to read this book, so I sacked this one off. So I'm going to finish reading this. 1.5 days to try. 25 books! I'm gonna get to 24. I'm so cross. I'm genuinely just gonna be one short. It's the 31st and I didn't read it. I didn't even pick it up really yesterday at all. It really was much more about me having something to prove. Emma, you've already proved it. You're already dyslexic little nugget. Like, you have very much proved that you can do the thing. It's fine. I've done very well. In fact, I haven't read any of these tiny ones. The fact that I still got 23. Am I 23, right? I read 23 whole books. 23 whole books and 2 halves because I still have half of Never Split the Difference and half of Defoe's Plague Year. You should just even see the inside of my bag. It's just books. I'm going back to London tonight, but for one night. You read? No way. You read? So then what I have done is I've decided I'm going to read last night at the Telegraph Club. I'm not expecting to finish this year, but this hopefully was my first one of 2022. I'm looking forward to it. I've already been having a flick through and there's timelines, so I love a good timeline. Of course I will eventually let you know how I get on with that, and I will not even just going to do what I read in 2021, but I'm going to rank everything. Oh yes, I'm treating you guys. Never Split the Difference, like I said, is very good, but this isn't something I realised I was going to be able to read in a rush, because I'd have to like think over what I was actually reading. That would have been lost cause. Honestly, it was quite nice to just basically give myself a bit of a challenge, and just quite a strong prompt to read what I did. Like, this is everything that I read since I've been home for Christmas, which has just been really, really nice. Yeah, I'm proud of me. Well done, Emma. If you can imagine this was like one thick book, I'd never pick up like a really thick book because I'm like, oh, it'll take me a million years to read. I read this in like over a week and a bit. Like, I have to give myself the credit. Like, I really do. But realistically, it's about the amount of pages I read. And I love GoodReads for this stat. Thank you. It's made me feel so much better about myself this year. And as ever, it's a good reminder that, I mean, it took me longer to read Giovanni's Room and Sappho than it did to read a 350-page romance book. Different register requires different brain power, and that's completely fine, so don't, again, be too hard on yourself for that. I will see you guys all in the new year. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Hello.
Is this like a fish production?
I'm good. Is a soccer fish production?